Hey everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. How's everybody doing today? Can you hear me all right? Give me a thumbs up please if you can hear me. Just want to make sure all the levels are good and everybody is able to hear me clearly out there. I don't want to be talking to myself. That would be silly, wouldn't it? I hope everybody's doing well today. Today is a milestone for me because it's actually the 50th show, believe it or not. The 50th show already. It seems like just yesterday that I started doing these live events, and I don't know. I feel like time is just flying so quickly that we're already up to number 50. It's a blur. So I hope if it's the first time that you guys are tuning in, that you keep on tuning into these events. I'm doing it for you guys. I know that there's been some confusion with the dates and the fact that people are not getting the notifications. Let me just put the mic a little closer to me here so you can hear me all right. So there's a lot of people that say that they don't get the notifications. So I tried to send out some reminders earlier on in the week. I don't always get an opportunity to do it. So I can always tell when people are getting them and when they're not getting them because there's a bigger turnout than usual, but it's all okay. I'm glad you guys that are here today are tuning in, and that's all that matters to me. So I want to say if it's the first time that you're tuning in to Addicted to Gear, the channel is basically designed to be a place where we share gear addiction stories. We compare gear. I talk about the gear that I pick up on a regular basis. We talk about reviews that I've done. We talk about new guitar acquisitions from the viewers like you. And so if any of you are already looking at possibly picking up some great deals because it is, Black Friday, there's always some great deals lurking out there. And if you've picked something up recently, I want to hear about it. Definitely want to know, if it's a guitar, an amplifier, pedals, whatever it may be. I've been keeping my eye open for deals as well, and I have a couple that I want to share with you guys today. So if you're tuning in, you can take advantage of some of those. To my American friends, definitely want to wish you guys a happy Thanksgiving. I hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving with your family, or maybe because of COVID, you weren't able to do that this year. But as long as everybody is safe and healthy, that's the most important thing. Eating turkey is great. Sharing it with your family is even better. But I think keeping everybody safe and happy is the ultimate. So I hope everybody took an opportunity to do that and take care of your families and friends and whatnot. So today, let's see, what am I playing? I'm trying to get a little bit more aligned with the camera. I think I need to move a little bit more this way so you guys can see what I have here. So this here is semi-hollow body 335, not copy, but very close. This is a guitar that I picked up used, a vintage brand. These guitars are actually quite good. I can vouch for them. I have a 335 Gibson Les Paul, and this guitar, for the amount of money that they go for on the used market, is a no-brainer. So if you guys find any of these vintage brand guitars out there, snag them up because they're fantastic. They really, really are. Love playing the 335s. They just have some really nice sustain. They sound great. And sometimes I don't feel like taking the 335 Gibson out because they're delicate. The headstocks pop off if you look at them funny. These ones are a lot less expensive. they're player guitars, but they're built well. They have nice features. I did a review on this guitar, so if ever you're interested in checking out the review, you can get all of the details. This is an older model, however. The newer models don't have the same body shape. These ones have symmetrical horns on both sides. The newer ones don't. They're a little bit offset. I guess they do that because of issues with not being sued. They don't want to get sued by Gibson. So that's why they do that. And I like this model better. I'm glad I found it. And I even like the tulip head, the tulip tuners on the guitar. The headstock looks a lot suspiciously similar to what you would see on a Harley Benton. I have a Harley Benton back there. They're very close. Not exactly the same, but very, very close. So I wonder if they're made in the same factory. I wouldn't be surprised. Anyway. So today I want to say hi to everybody that's here already. Devil Shoes, coming to us from Portugal. He says, stay safe, all of us. Yeah, you too. Definitely. Joey's in the house. Hey, Joey. He says, loud and clear. Glad to hear it. Aunt Jennifer is asking if I've ever tried the Blues King Super. I haven't tried it. I haven't tried the Blues King. I have owned a Supro dual tone in the past. And Supro does make some really nice amplifiers. They definitely have a very specific sound to them. But I haven't tried that one. Ed says hello from Ohio. Hi, how's it going, Ed? I like your little your image there. Is that Grover from Sesame Street? I can't really make it out. It's a little bit small. Or is it Elmo? I think it's Elmo, isn't it? Grover's not red. So Jennifer says Supro Blues King regular $5.99 slashed to $2.99 on Sweetwater. Wow. Well, that's quite a deal. I don't know if I would go for that particular model. I can't really talk about it because I haven't tried it. But the dual tone that I tried was great, but they're about $1,200. So, but they definitely have a very, very specific sound. I got 3 2020 Epiphones Les Paul Special TV Yellow, and it's great. 3 of them. Why 3? I guess they were on sale or something like that. I've been trying to stop myself from getting a Les Paul, not the Les Paul Specials actually. I'm looking at the Single Cut Juniors is what I'm after. And not necessarily in a TV yellow, but those ones look really, and I think would play really, really nice. A good deal to be had if you can grab one at a special price when they're on sale. Cowtown's Customs, nice to see you here, buddy. I got mine. Screwtube is in trouble for taking people's money away and shutting down some big channels. Why is that? What happened? I know YouTube is always finding new ways to screw the little guy. They have algorithms that basically will promote the channels that are bigger. But why do you say that they're in trouble for taking people's money away? This new, I didn't get this news, so I'm not sure. Maybe I'm out of the loop. I've been extremely busy lately. Haven't had time to really read up on anything too substantial. I've been doing work and just doing other things on the side and trying to get some videos done, and all this stuff is really just taking a lot of my time, unfortunately. Joey says I got 2 new Randall Diavolo 1-watt heads yesterday for $199 each. Scored 2 Blackheart heads and an Ibanez Tube Screamer 15-watt head and a 1x10 Blackheart cabinet. So you're in business. You got your head, you got your cabinet, and you got your Tube Screamer. I think you're pretty much covered. So Joey, is that it for the year, or are you looking at some other gear as well? I would say that's a pretty good haul. Jean-Claude, keep everyone safe and happy by isolating from each other due to a virus that has a 99% recovery rate. The Kool-Aid was drunk heavily. Well, you know what? I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. Obviously, I'm not a younger guy. So, I don't know. I prefer not to take my chances. Maybe you're right. Maybe we're overreacting, and it is 99% recoverable. But at the same time, there are still a lot of people dropping dead from this thing. I would hate anyone from my family to have to go through that. So I'm happy just being safe for the moment. The lesser of two evils. I don't know. Just my opinion. Hey Ed, how are you? Nice to see you in the house. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Thank you for complimenting the guitar. Really nice of you to notice. Definitely one of my favorite style guitars is the semi-hollow body guitars. They just sustain so beautifully. I'm going to talk about another one that's currently giving me gas, and I'm trying to not bite on it, but I don't know how long I could hold out. Happy Friday from Delaware. How are things in Delaware? Just wondering, Cowtown, if you could let me know like what's going on with the COVID situation. Just wondering. So Joey agrees with you, Jean-Claude, 100%. I don't live in fear of anything except an ill-timed shart. It's Kermit. Hold on, I think I'm losing my eyesight. It is Kermit. Wow. The avatar was just too small. I couldn't make it out, Ed. Sorry about that. So Corky Cat's in the house and he's suffering because it's 4 a.m. for him. Hey man, I'm glad you're here. You can always just, doze in and out of it. And I won't hold it against you if you fall asleep. Two Eds in the house, exactly. So any budget amp suggestions for a cheap Strat? Budget amps. I would say I'm pretty happy with some of the Blackstar amps that you can get on the used market. They don't really cost all that much. If you want to go tube, if you want to go transistor, I'm gonna say the Katana is a pretty nice one. There's a lot of these modeling amps now that are out, like the Spark and whatnot, if you want to get something that is just a practice amp. But I would say Blackstar amps pretty good for budget. You can definitely get PV amps relatively inexpensively. If you want to go with the PV Bandit, which is not a tube amp, it's transistor, you can get those at about, I don't know, between 150 to 250 bucks maybe on the used market. And they sound pretty good. They're loud. They're definitely loud amps, and you don't have the hassle of tubes. Depends on what you're looking for, what kind of sound you're looking for. Wow, my dog's really snoring heavily tonight. So if you hear weird sounds behind me, trust me, it's my dog. Hey Dave, how are you? Welcome, welcome. So I think a few of you are new to the channel, if I'm not mistaken. Could that be right? There's a couple of new faces. Maybe it's because it's the Friday time slot, so maybe some of you can't usually tune in on Friday. So that's why I'm seeing some new faces here today. Corky Cat says crap deals, as I said last week in Europe, for so-called Black Friday. I wish I was in the States. I would buy the Fender Player Telecaster Plus in Blueburst from 730 down to 600 USD. Yeah, man. That's a pretty nice guitar. The Telecaster Plus, yeah, that's a good deal. I'm sad to hear that they don't have these deals in Europe. I guess they're just not as big on the Black Friday thing. Corky Cat said deal is at musician's friend. Okay, cool. I'm trying to not to spend money on guitars at the moment. And I say that with a little bit of a smirk because I'm always doing so. I'm always buying new things. But I'm really, really trying to be better at doing that. I just posted a video about a week ago on the bootlegger Spade, which is a headless guitar. I don't know if you guys checked out that video. The case is right there in the back of me there. It's a sweet little guitar, I gotta say. It's really nice because it's so compact. And I like it. I think I'm gonna basically dedicate that one to like a practice guitar, or maybe a guitar that I would use if I would travel and I really want to take a guitar with me. Definitely travels well. So that's an option. And the headless thing is pretty interesting. I didn't think I'd actually get used to it, but it actually is a very, very beautiful playable guitar. Vox Guitars Rock is in the house. How are you doing, my friend? Nice to see you here as well. Thank you for tuning in. It's a slim crowd tonight, but it's okay. I think it's a little bit more intimate, if that's the right word. I think a lot of people are still not used to my Friday evening time slot. They're used to the Sunday morning thing. But I mean, we're going to keep it going for now unless I don't have the time to do it anymore on the weekdays. But I'm trying to make time for you guys. I almost considered not doing it tonight because I figured with Thanksgiving and all, everybody would be busy or with their families or recuperating or traveling, and I figured there wouldn't be many people on today, but I'm glad you guys are here. So what's my worst chord? I don't know. The chord that doesn't sound good? I don't know. That one maybe? I don't really know. I've been listening to a lot of ACDC lately. I don't know why. It's just like there's a revival. Oh. Let's talk about the bad chords. I like these riffs that he has. They're so fun to play. It's like, it's still rock and roll, And recently I saw somebody asking Angus about the fact that he's like, how can you, justify all of the AC/DC songs sounding the same? And he's like, well, that's what we do best, So I don't think he has to justify it at this age. I think he's proved this point that they can still rock with the best of them even at this age. Although I have to say, after seeing Angus recently in an interview, he's starting to look a little bit more like Agnes than Angus. I don't know, his, the face is starting to get a little droopy, but I mean, he's still probably in better shape than me overall, so I shouldn't be knocking him too hard. Randy, how are you, my friend? What's up? Not much, just chit-chatting with you guys tonight. Set aside an hour or so to do that, so cheers to you. If you guys don't know, I might as well tell you this just in case you want to take advantage of it. As you probably already know, I'm a fan of the Hotone brand. I have a couple of the multi-effects from Hotone, the Ampero and the Ampero 1. But I didn't really know that they were also selling software that would basically allow you to play through your amp, through through your laptop or your phone or iPad. And I checked it out recently. I actually downloaded a demo of it. And it's actually pretty good. It's called the V-Stomp. And if you're not aware of it, you might want to go check out the download. It's free. The demo, you can actually download it and try it for free. What it does is it cuts out every once in a while because it's in demo mode. But the software is not bad. And if somebody is not really interested in buying something like Bias Effects, which is, I think, 150 or 160 US dollars, still pretty steep for software, you can opt for this one. It's actually on sale right now for only $9.99 till December 31st. So if you're interested in grabbing something that works and is a little bit less expensive, you might want to check that out. It might just do what you need to do, and it doesn't cost a fortune. I'm always pro advertising or promoting anything that is a deal and it doesn't gouge. And although I like the bias effect stuff, too expensive. You know, it really is too expensive. Overloud too, very good software, very expensive. You know, I don't think the software should cost the same price as a used small amplifier or something like that. But that's just me. Maybe I'm cheap. I'm not really sure. I buy and sell all the time. I ended up getting my New York State tax ID. Can I drop the shop name? Absolutely, Joey. Go ahead, buddy. Definitely. So for those of you who don't know, this is a free plug for Joey here. So Joey's starting a business, and he's going to be selling items soon, and he's advertising it right here. So go for it, Joey. Give us the name. Hey, James. Hope I had a nice birthday. My birthday is not. My birthday passed a while ago. My birthday is in October, James. But thanks for the thought anyway. Gear update. I became a Harley Benton fanboy this week. I know the secret to lower shipping cost. What's the secret? Let us know. I definitely want to lower the shipping cost if I can. Budget amp for cheap Strat. Get a Spark. Yep, great deal for Black Friday. The Sparks are pretty cool devices. Definitely something that you can have around the house and it won't cost you a fortune. Of course, I don't know if you're going to be able to gig with it, but if you're not gigging with it, that's a nice thing to do. You can also go with the Nux, the little Bluetooth device with the wireless transmitter. I also reviewed that on my channel. If you haven't checked that out, that's also a good option. Not that expensive as well. So Dave says, cheap amp. I love my Monoprice tube amp for $200. Those Monoprice amps actually are pretty nice, I have to say. They're comparable, I would say, to a Fender Blues Junior or something like that in terms of features and sound. And yeah, you can get them for pretty cheap, only about $200. So it's hard to beat. You know, a tube amp for that price. I think it's a great thing if you can snag it up. Vox Guitars Rock says, my Pathfinder sounds great with my VM70 Squire. If you want to stay on the cheap side for cleans anyways. The Pathfinder, you're not the only one who's mentioned that to me. A friend of mine also. There's the Pathfinder, and I think there's also the Night Train, if I'm not mistaken, that also sound pretty good. All right. Hey, Joey, man, thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate that. And Alistair, too. I appreciate that, my friend. Thanks. Written on top. Thank you very much. Very nice of you. Joey, please share. I recently heard an outrageous shipping quote from them. What am I sharing, Joey? Sorry, man, did I miss something? BK says yes. Dave T says yes, my second time on the channel. That's what I figured. I didn't see your name too often, so I guess I figured you'd be new around here. Joey says Spark and Katana are solid bets. And there's more stuff coming out every day, guys. So like don't jump on the first thing that you see, because definitely there's more great gear every day. And I'll talk about a couple of things that I'm looking at right now. Election interference, possibly. Hey Jamel, got my lefty Gibson 60s Les Paul Standard on layaway. Okay, what's going on? What's going on? Randy says the Monoprice is a 200-watt tube amp with a 12-inch speaker. Yeah, man, you can see reviews of the Monoprice amp online. There's a lot of people that have done reviews, and to my ears, they sound pretty good. They sound pretty good. So people are congratulating Jamel. Always awesome to hear when somebody's getting a new guitar. It's like we're living vicariously through you guys, right? We get that good feeling when anybody gets new gear. Corky Cat says, by the way, can you remember how much you paid for your Harley Benton Gold Top? I'm looking at the one you bought and another one with humbuckers. I'm thinking of getting one and modding the death out of it. Oh man, I'm terrible with prices. I don't remember exactly how much it was. I want to say it wasn't more than, I think, like $375 with, I'm trying to remember what the shipping cost was on that. Anyways, it was definitely under $400. So with shipping and the taxes and everything, I think. I'm sorry, man. I'm very bad at numbers. I have so many like numbers in my head from other amps and guitars and stuff that I purchased. It's hard for me to keep them straight. Inventor says you can always add sponge to a headless guitar so it doesn't look amputated. Yeah, you can just put a sock on it or something. Or just cut off the head of your hockey stick or something and put it up there. Let me just jump down a little bit here. I also I've had my eye on this the Eastman T486, which is again a 335 guitar, but I don't know if you guys are familiar with Eastman guitars. If you're not, you can go to their website. They make really nice guitars. The thing is, now their headstocks are different. I don't know why they went this way, and their headstock is very much fluted. It's like it spreads out quite a bit on the current models, which I don't like at all. Like I wouldn't buy one of those. But there's still some older models floating out there. And the T486 is one of them. And it looks really good. It's so nice. Flame. It's a semi-hollow body like this. Red. Not as dark as this one. Has flame on it. Has a neck, a headstock that is pretty much the same size as this one. It has an ebony fretboard. And it has the split parallelogram block inlays. You know which one I'm talking about? Kind of like what you would see on Jimmy Page's double neck guitar. Really nice looking guitar. And I've seen them for about $1,005. So compared to what you're paying for a Gibson 335, it's pretty good. Although I haven't tried one in person, so I'm a little bit hesitant to order anything from Reverb or anything like that without actually playing one in person And unfortunately, there's not that many places around here that carry Eastman guitars. So it would be kind of taking a shot in the dark, and I'm not really up for that. But I'm trying to see if I can find one. I saw one on the used market locally here not long ago, but I think it's probably already gone. If it's not, maybe I'll go check it out and see if I could swing a deal or something like that. So there's always something to get excited about, spend your money on. Damon says, I read More has a free amp simulator VST on their website. I have not tried it yet. Reviews are good. I didn't try it. I don't know. I haven't seen it. There's too much stuff coming out to keep track of everything. But I'll take a look. Now that you mention it, we'll swing on by to their website and check it out. Corky Cat says, Joey Van Ostrand, sorry if you've been asked before, but what will you be selling? So I'll let Joey answer that question. Best $400 guitar. Good question. Best $400 used guitar or brand new guitar? I would say for me, $400 is a little bit. I would have to say the Squiers, the Squier Classic Vibes, used, because I think new they're more than that. I think they're around maybe $475 nowadays, something like that, brand new. But definitely the Squier Classic Vibes, for me anyway. Hey Thunder Falcon, howdy. Monoprice amp versus Spark. I'll give you my 2 cents on that. I think, honestly, the Spark is a cool device if you just want to play around with it. But long term, it's going to go out of fashion. Because anytime you have to interface with a device with another device, there's always going to be a phase out. Either your phone won't be compatible with it anymore. You know, the phones change quite often. And eventually that Spark will be a brick. Whereas if you buy a tube amp, you can always use a tube amp. And you could probably gig with it as well. Whereas a Spark, I don't think would be so great for gigging. So if I had $200 to spend, I would probably end up going with the tube amp. Of course, if you don't need an amp to gig with, then that changes a lot. Some multi-effects unit with headphones sound really good if you're just playing at home. They do. In fact, a lot of them sound really great, especially since you're getting the stereo effect when you're using your headphones. So any of those effects that are using any kind of modulation effects like ping pong delay or stereo reverbs or anything like that sound fantastic with headphones. The thing is, it's hard to reproduce those sounds in a live situation. That's where people often get into trouble because they think it sounds so great in their headphones and they take the same unit and go play live and it sounds totally different. I have the Spark and it is very nice, but no looper. There's no looper on it. Well, you can buy very inexpensive loopers today, Dave. A lot of these companies like Donner and stuff, they have these loopers that are not very expensive. So if that's the only glitch, you could probably get over that pretty quick just by buying yourself an inexpensive looper. So Joey says guitars and amp, no garbage, all decent, good quality and condition, fairly priced stuff. So Joey, did you give us the name? I missed it if you gave us the name. My electric guitar with Hendrix Digitech pedal sounds better in stereo. One side the valve guitar amp and the other side the hi-fi amplifier. There's a lot of different ways to get the sound out, right? So I like using, if you have a stereo setup, what you can also try to get a bigger sound is the wet dry wet or wet dry split, which means you would take an amplifier and one side of the let's say the stereo reverb would be wet, the other side would be completely dry. So you can get like that Van Halen type of flavor. And what you need to do is you need to have one of the outputs go out to a regular amp and the other one go out to maybe just a small amp, just completely wet. So one has the dry and the other amp has only the wet signal. And if you do that, it sounds huge. And you don't really need a big amplifier. You can use any small amplifier beside a 412 cabinet or something like that, and it just makes it sound huge. I'm gonna do a video on that one day just to show you how it works. But you need to have a delay pedal or something like that that has the ability to give you a completely wet signal with no dry in it. So if you don't have that, it's kind of hard to do. Joey, okay, thank you. I took a print screen of your store name and I'll look out for it. Good luck with your store. So Joey, you gave us the name. Hold on a second. Let me go back. I missed it. Where is it? Just a second. This is important. Okay, did I miss it? Here it is. All right, it's called For the Love of Guitar. Joey Van Ostrand, eBay and Reverb mentioned this show and I'll take good care of you. So Joey, I'm gonna like take this down and I'm gonna come and visit your store and see what you got. Definitely always in the mood for any good deals and to support people that are trying to get started in the industry. It's always an uphill battle, but I'm sure you'll do a great job. Sorry I missed that. Sometimes the chats just go by too quick. Okay, so Corky Cats 400 USD or Canadian because they both cost no more than 166 euro. I'm talking Canadian, like converting it to Canadian. So euro converted to Canadian with the import charges and the, what do they call it, the VAT tax or whatever. It adds up, man. And I think I may have also paid import duties on that. So Joey says, thank you very much. I'm talking with a distributor right now. In a few weeks, I should have regular stock. Need that tax ID and DBA first. There's a lot of red tape, Joey, man. You know, owning your own business is like that, but stick with it, buddy. I'm sure you have all of our support. The most beautiful headstock I had was the Martin Backpacker. It's small, almost a rectangle. I know what you're talking about. Martin doesn't spend too much time on the headstocks. Straight across, that's it. Vox guitars rock, but Tony, if you pick up an Eastman, you have to budget for the inevitable pickup swap. Maybe. I don't know, Vox guitars rock. I would have to try it first. You guys are razzing on me now. I don't change all of the pickups. Just like 98%. Corky Cat says, well, now you're good to go. Make sure that you get your shop's name out there fast so you can get a piece of the increased music gear market that's flying nowadays. I'm curious to see what kind of items you're going to be carrying there, Joey. I'm gonna give you guys a little tip that just popped into my mind here. Best $400 guitar, contemporary active Starcaster. I have one, love it. So the Starcasters, I believe the Starcasters were like a lower range. Now I don't know if the Starcasters are pretty much on the same level as the Squires or not. I really don't. I couldn't tell you. I know there's the different Squire lines. So there's the Squire Classic vibe. Then there's the Affinity, which is below that. So I don't know where the Starcaster stuff fits in. I never owned the Starcaster, so I couldn't really say. 400. I agree. I love my Squire thin line Telecaster. I mean, some of the Squire stuff is really hard to beat, guys. I mean, if you're really, really, really a picky guitar owner, I'm sure you could find stuff that you don't like about them. Some people complain about the necks being a little bit on the thin side, but honestly, they're great guitars. There's a lot of Harley Benton guitars that you can pick up for $400. That's absolutely true. The Harley Benton stuff, like the gold top that I have behind me there on this side, I don't know if you can see it there, just above my dog. Great guitar with P90s. You also have the Fusion 2, which is about that price as well if you want to get something that's more modern playing. Very comparable to what you can get with the Ibanez guitars. Very comparable to what you can get with some of the Suhr guitars at a very, very, very affordable price. And it includes some nice features, including stainless steel frets, switchable coil tapping on the pickups, a very nice Wilkinson tremolo on that as well, locking tuners. Hard to beat that at that price. Honestly, I don't know how they do it, but they also have a very nice the roasted maple versions of those as well. So definitely, that's something that I would probably look at before making a final decision, I would have to say. By the way, I was just doing some research, and the X-Lint for its price, mono price, isn't sold in Europe, but Harley Benton do exactly the same amp. Have a look on Thoman's site. Yeah, it's the same. It's exactly the same amplifier, except it has a Harley Benton badge on it. They're actually selling it for a little bit more. So if you're in Europe and you can't get the mono price stuff shipped to you, then that would be your next bet. Next best bet. The other thing I wanted to say is, besides the Eastman, and talking about 335 guitars, I don't know if you guys heard, but Chuck Berry's 1967 ES345 is being auctioned off, and it's signed. Serial number 000037. And I wonder how much it's going to fetch, because Chuck Berry, it's a piece of rock and roll history. I have a feeling it's listed for, I think, 7 days. So far, the last I checked, there weren't any bids on it yet. But I'm sure somebody's going to snag up that guitar. It won't be long. And I wonder how much it's going to fetch. I wonder if it's going to be close to $1 million, or maybe more than $1 million. I'm not really sure, but rock and roll history, boys. Yeah, so that amplifier is called the Harley Benton Tube 15 Celestion. So check that one out if you want to get something not too expensive. Fat Philosopher sneaking the phone at work for 2 minutes. I don't want you to get in trouble, Fat Philosopher, man. The last thing I want you to do is lose your job, and then you're going to blame it on me and you can't buy any more guitars. I would feel terrible about that. So be careful. Be careful. Do check out City KX300 with EMG pickups for $380. There's a lot of great guitars out there, guys. There's a lot of great guitars. You know what? Recently, just today actually, I bid on a Telecaster body. And you guys are going to say, well, what's up with that? But basically, I'm in the market for another project guitar. I've been really stocking up on project guitars lately. And I want to build myself another Telecaster style body guitar. because in the past I've built one and I love it, one of my favorites, and I wanted to build another one. And so I came across something really interesting, maybe not for everyone, but for people that are interested in building your own guitars, especially if you're in Canada. This is going to be big news for you guys. I can't say right now what it is, but stay tuned because I'll be putting out a video on this specifically in the next few days, probably. And this is huge news because if any of you have tried to build your guitars, paint your guitars, and get the materials that you need to be able to do projects like this, it's extremely difficult in some cases to get the materials you need here in Canada. Well, that's about to change, and I'll make that announcement in a couple of days. And if you guys are interested in building your own guitars and you're in Canada specifically, it's going to be great news for you. So stay tuned for that. But in any way, a long story short, I picked up a beautiful ash Telecaster body that I'm going to be painting butterscotch color, and I'm going to be building another Telecaster. Why? Because I'm crazy and you can always use another Telecaster. And they're fun to build because Telecasters are not a hassle like some of the other guitars that I've tried building. It's a lot easier to put together a Telecaster overall. So Jeff says that he loves a Spark for practice at home, but I agree with it being severely limited because of the app. Yeah, it's just what it is, Jeff. You know, these are products that are like limited in terms of lifespan. It's anything digital is like that, you know, 2 or 3 years max, and then they've served their purpose, and you have to kind of put them in the corner with the rest of the stuff, or enjoy it and sell it before the trend dies out. Get your money back and buy something else. Where are we at with the comments here? Online only so far. So if someone is local, they can pick up stuff or try it out first. For the love of guitar, Joey Van Ostrand, Reverb and eBay. I got a tax ID so I can start buying. Awesome. Awesome. Joey, let me know when you have some good deals, man. I'm always in the market for good deals, all right? I used two Lahell split to get 2 signals. Yeah, that's what I was saying about the reverb and the wet dry signal. It's a lot of fun. Yamaha amp. The THR series is also a nice little practice option. That's true. Sounds great in a small room, not for gigging, but small and nice reverb sound and very portable. Yeah, there's a lot of nice portable lunchbox style amplifiers these days. Not a lot of inexpensive ones. You can get some that are like, you know, $150 like from Hotone and whatnot, but I don't know how good they are. They're like 1 watt and probably pretty limited. So I will go with something a little bit more expensive just so you have some flexibility and you would be able to actually gig with it if you need it. It's always a safer bet. Joey, anytime, my friend, you know you can count on us. I'm always happy to help you out. Straight strings, pull on those headstock. That's what you want, folks. You definitely want straight strings. One of the things that I'm going to mention and give you a tip, because you guys are here today and it's a intimate crowd. I want to share this with you guys. One of the things that I always struggle with, and I'm not the only one, is the Gibson headstock. This style has headstock that has 3 on one side, 3 tuners on the other side. This is always a little bit of an issue. Some guitars more than others, okay? The reason for that is the split between the 3rd and a 4th string. So between the D and the G, you have that split where the strings kind of do this, right? And the slots that are cut on your nut are relatively all straight, so they tend to snag, especially the G string tends to snag. So there's a bunch of people that have come out with devices called, the string butler and stuff. They try and get the strings to be a little bit more straight. I find they're ugly. I don't find they look nice. Now there's other companies that have 3 on one side, 3 on the other, like PRS, but their strings are straight, so they don't have that issue. They don't bind. They fix that issue. Gibson's didn't fix that issue, and there's a lot of other guitars that have the same issue. So what do you do when your guitar doesn't want to stay in tune? Well, first, you want to make sure that the slots are cut wide enough for your strings, because more often than not, I've seen so many people that are trying to squeeze oversized strings into nut slots that are not cut thick enough. So for sure they will bind. So you have to make sure that you have enough play where the strings won't bind. And how do you do that? Well, you can do that by lifting the string, loosening the tension on the string, lifting the string out of the slot vertically. If you hear like a pinging sound, it means that your string is being snagged by the nut. And that's going to cause tuning issues, guaranteed. That's number one. Once you have that ironed out, what you need to do is remember this. If you have tuning issues, what I do sometimes, and I'm going to do that on this guitar as well, is tune your strings. When you wrap your string around your post, normally what I do is I start low and I wind, let's say, how can I put this to you? I put the string through the hole and I wind down. So the string actually, when it's being wound around the post, gets lowered closer to the headstock. What you can do with the the thinner strings, the D, B, and the E string, do it the opposite. So start low and wind high, so that when the string is actually finished winding around the post, it's actually sitting higher on the post. That helps a lot in keeping your string from going out of tune often with these type guitars. Now the other thing that you want to do, obviously you want to stretch out your strings if they're new, because otherwise they're going to go out of tune all the time. But one trick that I learned from my good friend Joe Walsh is when you tune your guitar, normally what do? Let's say we're tuning the string, it's out of tune. We tune up, right? We'll take the string and we'll tune it up to pitch. Well, Joe recommends doing the opposite. So if you're out of tune, bring it above the note. So let's say you're tuning to B, bring it above the B, and then bring it back down and tune it to pitch. So you're slacking the string, not tightening the string. And he claims by doing that, so if I'm doing this one, and I'm tuning it to G, I'm bringing it down. If I'm doing the E, you go above the E, then you tune it down. And that should help the tuning stability. So keep that in mind next time you're dealing with a guitar that doesn't want to stay in tune or is being stubborn. These things should help. You can also definitely add lube to the nut sauce, or a little bit of graphite, or some people will even use like a lip, what do you call that? Not a lip gloss, but the stuff that you put on your lips when they're chapped, like chapstick or whatever. You can also put that. There's a lot of strange things that people use, but a lot of them work. You'd be surprised. Inventor says you would lose sustain, but I recommend lubricant on strings so that the slide doesn't sound froggy. Lubricant on strings? Well, I'm a little bit hesitant to put lubricant on strings because I don't I don't know what lubricant is made out of, and it could be toxic, and you get it on your hands, you get it on your face, you get it in your eyes. But a lot of people do clean off the strings after a session so they don't get tarnished and they last longer. But I don't know if that's actually going to help with the tuning. But possibly the lubricant on the strings would work, definitely. Serious Intentions just bought a Roland Jazz Chorus 22 stereo to run my stereo pedals in front or in the effects loop. 15% off at Cosmo Music Black Friday event. The signal is split between the left and right speakers. Yeah, that's a cool little amplifier. The Chorus. When I was young, I wanted the Jazz Chorus 120, and I could never really afford it. But it really has a nice, clean sound. So that's a nice buy, and it will definitely help you get some nice, clean sounds out of it. I believe Squire is made by Fender and Stratocaster is made by a third party and licensed by Fender. Do you mean Starcaster or Stratocaster? The original Starcasters looked like a Fender 335. I guess they've changed over the years for whatever reason. Does my dog like music? My cat likes ZZ Top and classical music. My dog puts up with my music, but sometimes when I'm playing really loud, she gets up and walks away. Sometimes she bears with it, but other times, especially when I'm playing aggressive, like high gain stuff, she leaves. Looks for peace and quiet elsewhere. Keith Richards will buy it, I'm 100% sure. CBS guitar. Quirky Cat monoprice amp tube 15 warning, yes, but you will have to buy a power converter for the US. Thomann states this on their website. Yeah, that's right. You got to keep that in mind. I almost forgot. I didn't think of that actually. But yeah, anything you buy from Thomann, if it's powered, especially amps, you're going to need a power converter. I don't know if that changes the sound, but it should work okay. Chuck Berry's guitar, the poor thing is probably beat to all sorts of hell, expensive collector's piece. I don't think so. I think he used it sparingly. It looks like it's in pretty good shape. And just the Chuck Berry signature on that thing is worth a lot of money. I wish I had that kind of money, but I don't. I would never be able to afford something like that. Dave T, I'm in Europe. ATM have been stuck here ever since COVID broke out, but you're 100% right. It really sucks, Corky Cat. I'm sure you're dying to get home after all this time. I'd be going bananas. All right, let me scroll down to the bottom here because there's other things happening that I've missed. Rico, hey Rico, nice to see you, my friend. Arizona. Congratulations on your 50th show. I should have had like strippers or something. I don't know. I didn't plan ahead of time. And with the COVID situation, I can't really do much. But I appreciate your congratulations. And maybe for the 100th show, we'll do something special. Maybe for the 100th. if you're going to spend the extra cash, might as well get a pair of FR speakers and just use your current setup as a go-between. That's one of the things that you can definitely do instead of getting an expensive amplifier. Just get an inexpensive multi-effects unit, plug it into an FR speaker, and you're in business. How do I like the... I think this question is meant for Dave T, but I'll answer you anyway because I have one too. How do you like the NUX MG300? I particularly like it a lot. Definitely a great little unit. One of my favorites. Has really great sounds. Really great sounds. I hope they update it and expand it or add some functionality or something, because overall it really is good. So guys, the other thing I wanted to say, I had a couple of interesting things that I came across today, and I wanted to share with you guys. So first of all, if you want to get take advantage of a Black Friday deal, Sweetwater is selling the Ernie Ball regular string slinky strings. I like the Ernie Ball strings myself. 6-pack for 22 bucks. So that's a pretty nice deal. 6 packs of strings, you're always going to use them, so I probably grab that deal. The other thing that I saw recently is that Dr. Z, so if you guys are familiar with Dr. Z amps, they're teaming up with Carol Ann. So I don't know if you know Carol Ann, but they're a pretty expensive boutique amp company. So is Dr. Z. They're getting together and they're making the Kaz 45. CA for Carol Ann and Z for Dr. Z, and it's a 45 watt amp, and it's the first high gain amp that Dr. Z is putting out. And I saw some reviews on it, and I heard some sound clips on it, and it sounds pretty darn good. The only gotcha on all of this is the price. It's about $3,350 USD. So that's a little bit of an ouch for me. I wouldn't be able to spend that kind of money on an amplifier. It's just too expensive. And honestly, I want to support the companies that are making affordable amps for people that are like working and have regular jobs and are not like superstars. So I'm going to have to pass on that, unfortunately. But it looks like it's a very interesting amplifier. So if any of you are in the market for something a little bit more expensive, you want to get something high gain, check that one out. The other thing I also wanted to talk about briefly, because I thought this was a really ingenious idea, is that Gator, the company that makes guitar gig bags, guitar hard cases and stuff like that, well, they're coming out with a really cool idea, which is the Gator closet hanging bag. So what it is, and I thought this was ingenious, it's a gig bag for your guitar, but it's designed so that you can hang it in your closet. So for guys like me, for example, that have a bunch of guitars lying around just waiting to be knocked over by my kids or myself or my dog, you can actually buy these gig bags, put your guitars in them, hang them in your closet, like vertically, so it doesn't take much room. I thought that was a great idea, and they're only about $40, so a lot less expensive than a full-sized case, and safe enough to hang your guitars away. So I think I'm gonna probably have to buy some of those for my guitars that I have lying around here and just put them away. Finally, I think I'm gonna close with the pet peeve of the day, which is, how many times are companies gonna have to cash in on the same old thing over and over again? You guys probably know the brand Maxon. They got kind of famous for recreating their own version of the Tube Screamer, which they claimed was like, better than the original, and it actually gained momentum, and they were actually selling them for quite a lot of money. Well, long story short, they're coming out with another one now. Now this is called the Maxon Apex 808. Of course, they're claiming that now this is the perfect tube screamer. So the other one, I guess, wasn't perfect after all. And they're charging $300 for it, USD. So how many times are we going to have to try and recreate and convince people that the tube screamer, that we could always make it better? At a certain point, is it even still a tube screamer? That's what I like to ask. But anyway, for those of you that are tube screamer fans, and you do want that authentic, in air quotes, tube screamer sound, check out the Maxon. Check it out. You might find that it's worth your while, and you're able to get the most out of it. But I honestly feel a little bit, I feel it leaves a bad taste in my mouth, because I feel like we're being taken to the cleaners. So Corky Cat says that gators suck. I'll tell you why. I bought a Les Paul case for my Les Paul that I bought while I'm over here, but they lie about their limited lifetime warranty only applies to US market. Anyone outside of the US, beware. I didn't know that. Interesting. So I guess it's just a question of like the shipping costs, if they have to give you that money back guarantee or ship you a new product. They probably don't want to ship it overseas because it ends up costing more than the actual product does. But I didn't know that, so thanks for sharing that. Hey, thank you, Serious Intentions. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, my friend. Dave T. Fun free app for iOS. Apple is Music Memo. It's free. So what is that? Is that just like something that you can use to hum a tune into your phone when you have a creative idea? Excuse me. Case equals great gator, but lie about warranty. Yeah, we got it. I guess, they should be honest and at least tell you about that. But I guess nobody reads the squinty print, right? Until something happens. Mike says, I think Lee picked the Maxon TS as his favorite on the Anderton's Tube Screamer shootout video. I'm not surprised. Probably one of the more expensive pedals that he sells. Maxon built pedals for Ibanez in the 70s and 80s. I know. I remember. I agree with you. Quirky Cat. Nobody likes surprises. You're paying good money for a product. Absolutely. 100% agree with you. So how do you like that TSA 30? Does it sound like a tube screamer, Mike? Is it everything you hoped for? Wash hands. Yeah, absolutely. Keep that in mind, people. Music Memo will record your guitar or other instruments and give you a drummer and bass player similar to the trio pedal. That's pretty cool. And it's free. That's always nice for some creative inspiration. I got to check that out. Awesome. Thanks for the tip, Dave. Thank you very much. Sorry for the out of the various cheapo multi-effects unit that you have reviewed, which one would you say is the best? That's a great question. Sorry, I got something dry in my throat. I think it's just the heating kicking in that's making everything super dry, including my guitars. That's not an easy question to answer, Corky Cat. I'll tell you why. Because they all, in terms of sound, they all sound pretty good. There's obviously a few that I think sound better, but you have to also consider the functionality. And so some, like for example, okay, so far I'm gonna give you 3 examples here. So we have the this one here, the MG300 from Nuex. I think this one sounds really good. Like in terms of sounding close to what you would get out of an amplifier, really good. And it's not expensive. However, it's limited in the functionality and features that it has, especially the outputs, because you don't have that many. So, you know, if this was made in such a way where you have a nice metal chassis like this one, which is the Ampero one, and you have more outputs and inputs like you have in the back here, I would say that one would be my favorite. But it doesn't have that. So, you know, the Ampero sounds pretty good. It doesn't sound as good as that one, I think, but it definitely has way more to offer in terms of flexibility, the way the patches work, the IRs, the effects, what you can use it for, the way the looper works and everything. So you have to look at it as as a whole system. So that's why it's not easy to pick a winner. You know what I mean? Then you have this one here, which I also reviewed recently, which is the Flamma FX100. Doesn't sound bad. Definitely could use a little work with the reverbs, but it sounds pretty good, and it's very inexpensive. I think this one is the least expensive of the bunch. So, man, long story short, which one would I pick? You know, honestly, if it was just for home use, and I wouldn't necessarily want to have something that I care about gigging with, just to play around the house, I think, you know, for the money, this is a great bang for the buck. Definitely is great bang for the buck. However, I know that Ampero is coming out with a smaller version, which is going to be even smaller than the one, which is here. Even smaller than this one. So we'll have to wait and see. So I guess it's kind of one of those non-answers. But if it was for money, and you know, I figured, look, for the money you spend on a pedal, get one of these. You have a lot more flexibility, IRs, great sounds, lots of effects. You have a looper built into this one. You have some drums. You have a lot of great stuff in here. Can't go wrong. But there's new stuff coming out every day, and some of it's really good. So then you would say that the Ampero is the best one to take the place of multiple pedals. If you're in a live situation, I would say yeah. Of the ones that I showed you here, yes, because it is more flexible in terms of other multi-effects units if you're planning on taking it and playing with it in a gig situation. Not necessarily at home is what I'm talking about. That Ampero is a hot piece of kit. It's quite popular right now. They're turning a lot of heads, and they're making the competition take notice because the price is right, not very expensive. That money is best used for pedals anyway. You know, you can't go wrong with pedals. But what I've been playing with is having a pedal board scenario set up, and having a scenario where I use a hybrid of these with some selected pedals. Like for example, you know, although this one doesn't necessarily have a very good or a great reverb, it has some great sounds built into it. So you can take this one and just plug an external reverb pedal into it, in through the ins and outs, and you're in business. And you can do a lot with it, including the recording at home. It's a great time to be a guitarist. I think the Kemper is still king, but man, $1,700. Nux's fun, cool features with the Ampero, as Tony discussed. I considered a teaching unit as well. The software gives details on each pedal. Yeah, it really is, and you can't beat the price. I mean, the Kemper is great for what it is, but it's you know, you're talking Canadian dollars. It's $2,000. It's not a cheap piece of gear, so you can definitely do a lot with these guys in the meantime, till you decide what you want to do. I have all the stuff back at home in the States. Since I'm stuck in Europe, I want to get something compact to tide me over. But of course, pedals are number one, or a Kemper. Yeah, or an Axe FX or something like that. I've been drooling over a Kemper for quite some time, $1,700 though. Guys, don't forget, I know some people that do have the Kempers as well as the Axe FXs and stuff like that. They're great, but they don't replace an amp. I'm telling you, it's just not the same. It really isn't. You'll see. I mean, they're great for what they are, but eventually you would still want to have an amplifier. Except for the software package Spark, they all sound pretty much equal, but they are for home studio use. Yes, agreed. I won't even pay more than $1,000 for any guitar. And you shouldn't have to, honestly. There's some great guitars that are under $1,000. When you get to $1,000 range, unless they're made of really fancy woods or stuff like that, you know, you're almost going to be afraid to take them out and play them because they're so expensive. So I like the kick around guitars because I don't have to worry about them, you know. So guys, on that note, I want to say thank you for tuning in today. Thank you for sharing the 50th show with me today. For those of you that couldn't make it today, no big deal. I'm sure you'll be able to watch the video, the recorded version of the video, and get all the information that we shared here today. But it's always great fun talking with everybody that is patient and comes and tunes in for the blah blah that I present on a regular basis. So I appreciate that very much. If you guys like what I'm doing here, give me a thumbs up. I always appreciate the encouragement, and I always appreciate you guys tuning in on a regular basis. Just so you guys know, if there's no confusion, because I'm sure that people are still confused by all of this. There's going to be no show this Sunday. The show will happen next Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So no show this weekend. Don't get confused about that, guys. It always skips a weekend, all right? So tune in if you'd like to tune in. I would appreciate you guys tuning in. Tune in next Sunday, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on the Addicted to Gear channel. I'll try and put out a reminder posting, and so hopefully they'll work. Some of you have mentioned that they're not working. You're not getting the notifications. So I'm not really sure why that is. But I will definitely be here next Sunday, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time in the AM. So tune in if you're up that early. Grab yourself a coffee, have some breakfast, tune in for the chat, and join us all then. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you very much for your support. If you're new to the channel and you like the stuff that we're presenting here, please consider subscribing. That's always appreciated, and hit the little bell icon so you'll be notified whenever I post new videos. There'll be more videos coming soon, guys. I promise. So stay tuned on the channel. All right. Have a great evening. Stay in tune and keep rocking, because that's what we're here for. All right. All right, guys. Have a great evening. Talk to everybody soon. Have a good night.